What's going on, everyone? Today I'm gonna talk briefly about red tape. Um, basically, red tape is anything that basically stops, or it just not so much stops, but that is put up for requirements to achieve a certain level, or to do a certain task, or to get a certain account. Anything like that is, I would consider red tape. So the things that I'm going to be talking about as far as red tape is credit requirements, background checks, things like the PDT rule, professional licensing, and just overall just lack of money in general. Those things are red tapes to basically get to a certain level, and or even get a certain account or job or anything like that. So first off is credit requirements. Okay, credit requirements is actually something that was started um, early 1900s. Okay, so it was started right around the end of chattel slavery in North America. That is like the birth of the credit requirements to get a loan or to get some type of contract, real estate contract, something like that. That was started back late 1800s. You could do the research. If I'm incorrect, let me know. But the credit in the United States is started in the late 1800s. So credit requirements are pretty much as good as you can keep them. As good as you can keep your credit requirements or credit score up. It you know you can have the ability to get credit as much as you want, but credit is only, I say, as good as the job that you have or the income you have coming in. So for example, 2008, a lot of people, I would imagine, had problems with credit because they had to file bankruptcy, or they had to walk away from a property because they could no longer pay it. Um, a lot of things is like, if you have problems like for paying your mortgage, 9 times out of 10 you have problems paying for your car loan. You have problems paying your credit cards, those type of things. So 2008, a lot of people took a haircut. A lot of people had credit issues because of the loans they had outstanding, and how upside down they were on their property, and choosing to short sell it and or walk away from the property. Um, that is, just something that happens to people because it's based off the external factors like the economy, the ability to keep a job. Um, what I mean by the economy is more or less is, let's say just the market just goes completely down again like 2008. Well, that loan that you have on your property for 80 grand, let's say your property values go all the way down to, shoot, $40,000, and it's like you have to you still pay that loan for 80,000, knowing that your property is only 40,000. If you pay it off, your property is only going to be worth half of what you paid off. So it's like, well, a lot of people made that decision to just walk away from their property, to just dissolve it, because it just, you know on the balance sheet, it just didn't make any sense. So just as far as red tape is involved, a lot of people miss out on opportunities, primarily poor people, because of credit requirements. Okay. Credit requirements for a house is, typically you have to have a 620, I think as low as to get an FHA, you have to have your score has to be at least 585. I do believe it might have went up because of certain standards are they renegotiated those standards or in the process or something like that. But you ideally you need to be above a 600 credit score to safely say to get a mortgage. So you can say like at the very least 620, above 620, very bare minimum to even get on the phone and actually talk to a real estate a mortgage lender. You need to have those requirements. So if you don't have those requirements, you might be missing you're going to be missing out on a lot of just opportunity, because some people will be like, oh, okay, here we go with this slave talk or whatever, this poor man's talk, because it's like you get in the asset. I mean, you get in a liability. Well, the thing about it is, I don't recommend. No, I do not recommend someone to get a house that's way overpriced and a high interest rate mortgage. Anything above 3% is a subprime loan. Damn, pretty much in real estate. In as far as properties are concerned. So I don't recommend anyone to get a loan. It's 30 years and just get into loads and loads of debt and pay three times the amount of it. I don't recommend that. But if you're gonna buy a property, and let's say you need a property, for example, it's a meme that I made a couple days ago, and it's based off of because I listen to a lot of times I listen to NPR, and what I was listening to was them talk about, like, just financial news, and just they were just talking financial, personal financial talk and economic news, stuff like that. So what they were talking about was that they mentioned in North Milwaukee, okay, a typical rental is about $700, $700 a month. Okay. But that same rental, the same property, you can get a mortgage on it and only pay $70 a month for that same property. Okay, this is what I mean by red tape. This is what I mean why I'm talking about credit requirements is a form of red tape that pretty much is pretty much like I said, it's a barrier, to just kind of keep people in this box and keep them poor. Because let's say you do get that mortgage. Let's say it's just $100. You're saving $600 a month because you don't have to pay that mortgage. I mean, you don't have to pay that $700 rent. Okay. This type of thing you know, is why, pretty much they say the poor get poor and the rich get rich. Because if that's what you wanted to do, if you just trying to get the cheapest property you can, and you trying to get in, if you have the credit to get this property that rents for 700 for $70 a month, if that what you wanted to choose, you're gonna save yourself over $600 by just getting a mortgage. That is just, I mean, if that ain't lopsided, I don't know what is. I mean, This type of stuff happens is this happens quite a bit in the Midwest because um but pretty much the Midwest is it's kind of a somewhat quiet property boom going on in the Midwest, but you can fairly get you can get a house in the Midwest for less than $50,000, and you can rent it out for a sizable amount of money. And a lot of people invest. A lot of people have shell companies or investment companies that they invest in the Midwest heavily, and they make a ton of money because the profits are tremendous. Because you can't buy a property on the West Coast for $50,000. Just can't do it. I mean, I'm talking the LA area, Orange County. Um, you can't. It doesn't. You could probably buy a garage, maybe. Probably can't even buy a garage. A garage is probably going for $100,000. So it's like basically people that are in the West Coast or in the California, Washington area, they see properties in the Midwest for as cheap as they are. They just buy them up and then rent them out and make a shit ton of money. Okay, because basically they have the credit or capital to use to make more money, whereas poor people don't. Okay, and where people just continuously have this cycle of perpetual just poverty, or even just I mean just kind of even just being mediocre, because they just don't take things towards a certain level. Okay, because that is what I mean by these credit requirements are red tape to a lot of people. Because if you pretty much, I'll just take things a step further. Let's say you wanted to just buy a property because you already have a property, but you want to buy another property so you can rent it out, or you wanted to maybe resell it because you pretty much you could look in the area and do certain. You watch a few of my videos, you follow my blog, and you got some general basically real estate investment understanding. So that means basically your area is about a BC area, or C, let's just say C area. That means that basically it's in demand. It's not in high demand, but it's in enough demand that people are buying and selling properties. You want to buy a property that's below value, but you don't have the capital to do so. If you're able to get that credit to use to buy that property and enough money to fix it up, you can sell it. You can buy it and sell it for a sizable return, something that's over $30,000 in a period of 6 months, because you are able to get that credit. Whereas if you're not, you're out of 30 to 50 thousand dollars. People use credit to buy multiple properties a year and make, let's say within a year's time, they have most likely bought 4 or 5 or 6 properties. Okay, so and they made a variation of profit from anywhere as low as 20,000 to high as like 65,000, $70,000 on one property. Okay, and they work on like typically generally 5 or 6 projects a year. Okay, that's over $100,000 just off of this profit, just off of buying property, where because they're using their credit. Okay, this is what I mean by that. I don't mean when you should use your credit to just be buy an overpriced house in a neighborhood that you really can't afford to live in, other than if you had if you were um higher income, or wealthy, or something like that. You just able to just get in because you have a mortgage. That ain't what I mean. And be house poor. Because what house poor means is that The definition, my definition of house poor is anyone paying over the standard amount of income on a house, which is about over 60%. People paying 65, 70, 80, 90% of their income on a house because basically they're over leveraged because their mortgage or a combination of mortgage and taxes are extremely high. So those types of people are house poor. Okay. So that ain't what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying as far as, you know, being out of, having red tape to not qualify for properties. That is not what I'm saying. To just get an overpriced house in some neighborhood that is very exclusive and pay a high mortgage. I'm talking about someone that, you know, can get a property that they can afford and have a substantial savings, even left over from their current income, whereas they'll be saving um like 1,000% pretty much because like I mentioned in before, the house that is in Milwaukee, North Milwaukee, that's $700 a month. That same mortgage is about that same property for a mortgage on is about $70 a month. Okay, so I mean that's what I mean by that. You know, not go get some property that's you're paying $1,400 a month and you only make like 1,900 a month. I mean, that's not what I'm saying. That is a liability and a risky um a business decision or financial decision that I would strongly recommend not to take. But um that is not what I describe as red tape to get that, to ability to get that, so you can live in some neighborhood where people feel impressed by you, but you're really all the while extremely broke, like in the move in the book Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's not what I'm talking about. But moving along, um, background checks. Background checks are a hindrance. I'm not gonna go too much into it. It's very simple. Um, Companies mostly do background checks uh, for felons, for to see, basically they um, exclude felons mostly, and that's a problem for me because I'm a recent felon. I've got charged with a felony March of this year, so I have a hard time with that. I even had a hard time before because a lot of people don't know this. Um, if you have a felony pending, like meaning you going back and forth to court, you still can't get a job because it's like they're pretty much the jobs they look at your pending felony. It'll come up as a pending felony if you're going back and forth to fight a case that you have a pending felony charge on your record. You still won't be able to get a job, most likely with that pending felony charge. So, I mean, it is crazy, but this is a red tape. This is one of those red tapes to, you know, keep you in your place, to keep you poor. With all the other things, without, the lack of education, the lack of knowledge, the lack of understanding to put on to that. This is one of those red tape items to keep you barricaded into poordom. Okay, background checks are. It's like, okay, I did what I did because I didn't have any money or low on money or whatever. But now you're saying, and that was associated due to lack of employment. Now you're saying, now it's gonna be even hard for you to get a job. and you already um did what you did because you most likely was not working or lack of opportunity or whatever, and you made these risky decisions that were illegal. Now we're gonna amp up the game for you. So so now, I'm humorous because really, when you think about it, it's just really, really diabolical. But now you're gonna have it even harder because you have a felony. So good luck on trying to even get a better job or the same job, if not anything. So we can just, so you can just go back to jail or whatever, or make it, even just much harder. That's what pretty much not having having a felony is like, basically. It's just like literally you have to seriously thinking about going into business for yourself and actually making some money, like basically just through business. Take business serious and actually um just go into business for yourself. Now, the people that pretty much started this country, the ancestors, European ancestors that came, uh, that started this country, actually were criminals. Okay, Queen of England actually not the Queen of England. At that time, it was the King of England. Don't know who, but it was a king that emptied out all of the cells, damn near all of them. They emptied out all of the prison cells, jail cells in England, and they dispatched these prisoners to various parts of the world: Australia, South America, North America, Canada. All of these people, they not all of them, but a good portion of them were ex-cons from Europe, and they emptied the jail cells out and dispatched them to the United States, modern United States, Australia, New Zealand, Tasmania. All of these people, Africa, they went everywhere they could, and they started, pillaging and all this other stuff. And now it's all, it is what it is. But it's ironic that all of a sudden now it's like, oh, okay, so yeah, we we started with ex felons, but now we don't want you. We want to make it hard for you. Um, but you know, I'm a very intelligent person. That's another reason why I laugh, because you know, it is backwards as hell. But that's the law. That's another red tape. It's one of the biggest red tapes. Keep your ass poor. Okay, keep you poor as fuck, because basically that's what it's designed for. It's really, another thing is, yeah, it does keep out people that shouldn't be in certain practices. Yeah, I understand if you're a pedophile, you shouldn't be working in the daycare, shouldn't be working anywhere near kids. Um, I will say what you also shouldn't be doing either, but that's a whole nother topic. I'm extremely conservative on crime, so I mean, you can get where I'm going with that. As you know, but I'm just saying that is one thing that I do. Like, certain jobs you shouldn't be able to. If you got a certain felony charge or charge, you shouldn't be working there. Like, for example, if I was a banker, if I was trying to go be a banker, I could understand if if I have a charge on my record for robbery, that I shouldn't be working at a bank with a robbery charge. I could understand that, hands down. I'd be like, well, if I was a HR rep or someone hiring somebody at a bank, and then I hire someone that's at a robbery charge, I would understand if they said no, because It doesn't make sense. It's very risky to hire someone to work at a bank that has a robbery charge. So it's just stuff like that. Yeah, I understand. Okay. But it's like basically all of this is due to capital. Okay. Those ex-cons that came from the prisons of Europe and jails of Europe, and also the poor that came from Europe. They didn't come here to get poor. They came here to get rich. Okay. Um, did a lot of crooked shit to get it, but the thing is that wealth, with wealth, you don't have to worry about this type of all of these things that I'm mentioning with capital. You don't have to worry about them really. It's a concern, but it's really not no concern at all. That's how powerful money is. That's why a lot of people need to, like, if you have friends that don't talk about money, you really need to get new friends. I've said that a whole bunch of times because money is very, very important. People always say these things. If you be out drinking, people say money is not important and blah blah blah. And it's really not important, man. You can die today, you can die tomorrow. But meanwhile, if you're living, you gotta pay. You gotta pay for bills. You gotta pay for expenses. You have children. You have to pay for them. Plan for their future. If you got debts, you gotta pay those off. I guarantee you, people to tell you that if you look at their physical balance sheet. What I mean by physical balance sheet is FISCAL. Look at their credit, the amount of debts owed versus income coming in. They don't have. They're probably at a deficit, most likely, meaning that they owe more than how much money they have coming in and are in debt, underwater. Okay. Financially dissolvent. That's what the whenever you, like, for example, like, if I wanted to be technical, as far as personal finance terms, um, I'm not broke. I'm financially insolvent, meaning that I'm underwater, trying to not drown because I owe more than how much I have coming in because I have a lot of debts. So a lot of the people that talk like that, I bet you 9 times out of 10, they are also financially insolvent. Pretty much anybody, most people, because most people have debt. I would say more than half of people, 75% or even higher than that, are financially insolvent. That's why, people I talk to people on a regular basis and I see people and people express themselves. People don't really want to talk about money because they are financially insolvent and feel really bad about it and feel embarrassed about it. And it's like, dude, I mean, chick, I mean, why don't you talk about money so you can try to get help or try to get some type of plan together, to get out of debt, to be financially solvent. But it just doesn't cross people's minds. I mean, I could talk about health all day or this, health and health and health, but you do need to have wealth too. Your health, yeah, definitely is your wealth, but then you also need money. You need God's money and you need man's money. Man's money is, paper money, fiat currency, Bitcoin, anything that, bonds, securities, so on and so forth. God's money is like, natural minerals, gold, diamonds, silver, platinum, palladium, um, copper, bronze. You need to also save God's money too, but you do need money, period. And if you don't have it, if you have more debts than you have money, you're financially insolvent. And I hate to say it, but most of my subscribers are financially insolvent. Most of the people on YouTube are financially insolvent. And that's what I talk about. That's why I have to talk about these things because they're very important. But when it comes to background checks, It is just, mark my words, just a hindrance to, trying to get some type of job or, continuous work cycle going. Um, right now, I have to do another background check, so I might be without a job within the next few days to a week or so, and I might have to go into full-fledged business mode and or just work somewhere else, do something else. I have to, figure it out. And I've already kind of figured it out, but I think that I'm just gonna try to go full-fledged in the business with what I have saved and everything, because that's kind of what I wanted to do. But that's a whole nother topic for another day. But moving on to the red tape items, the PDT rule. Um, the PDT rule is one of those little snaggy little rules that I basically I don't like it, but I understand it, but I still don't like it. I can't I don't really, understand, but at the same time I get it. But basically, PDT rule is pattern day trading rule. And basically what that does is, or what that means is, you have to have over $25,000 to be able to truly day trade. So, um, all these seminars and all this stuff talking about learn how to trade stocks and blah 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 and blah 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 and everything like that. They they don't tell you that basically you need to have at least 35 $25,000 in your account, because most people ain't got no $25,000 in their account and won't have $25,000 in their account. I mean, you could definitely learn how to trade stocks. You don't have to have $25,000 in your account, but you need $25,000 in your account to be a day trader, which means you can buy and sell stocks within minutes or wherever your heart is desired. You can buy stocks. Um, that's what that means. That PDT rule. So if you trade more than three times, day trade more than three times in one day, or no, 1 week, you will be marked as a pattern day trader. Your account will be flagged for breaking the PDT rule because you did not have the required $25,000 that the SEC said that you have to have in your account. So you'll be marked as a PDT, and you didn't have the money in the account, therefore your account will be flagged. I've never been flagged for the PDT. Usually, once I reach about three trades, I just give it a break, and I get stuck holding the rotten egg. That's what I mean by um basically, once you get over three trades, whatever trades you have left, stocks you hold, after that, you get called. I call it getting stuck holding the rotten egg. If it's going down, if the stock is just going down, 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 you can't do nothing. Because if you trade it, you're gonna be marked as a pattern day trader, and they're gonna flag your account. So what I do is I just kind of just I trade one or two stocks a week, and I try to really do good analysis to avoid the PDT rule. But I would rather have 25K to be able to trade as much as I want when I want. And you would make more money if you can day trade, because basically you have the ability to get in and out of trades whenever you want. Therefore, in essence, you can leverage your risk better because you don't have to worry about holding this stock. You can trade and make money. You can scalp. You can truly scalp the market, whether it's a day or 2 days or within seconds, minutes, and actually make money scalping the market if that's what you wanted to do. Or you can just basically ride a stock for a few hours and then trade it with no penalty. As soon as it starts going down, you can trade it. You know, with until your heart's content, you could just trade as much as you want with as long as you have that money in your account. So, that is red tape. Okay, so another list of red tape on the list of red tapes is professional licensing. So, not only can you not hardly get any job if you have a felony record or some type of background on your background check that has either to do with a felony or misdemeanor. You also have problems getting licensing. What I mean by professional licensing is being an insurance salesman, um, getting a real estate broker's license, um, getting a license to be a dentist, to be a nurse, to be a teacher. You can forget that with a felony charge, even misdemeanor charges. I was looking on Illinois, um, their licensing board for real estates. They were suspending people's licenses for writing a bad check. They are very, very conservative. So it's like, okay, all of that being said, with the felony, you could just forget about having a license. Damn near, you have to get it expunged and or sealed before you can get any type of licensing. So no licensing, no job, no money, no job, no money, and not everybody can be a businessman. You can forget that. Businessmen can't even be businessmen. The average business only lasts it lasts about 3 years if you're lucky. Okay, usually becomes insolvent after 3 years. Okay, so just another red tape. Okay, so if you're watching this, if you're younger, you definitely want to be straight and narrow. You definitely don't want to have no hiccups. Definitely don't want to be hanging out with unsavory individuals and or doing anything unsavory, illegal, if you could avoid it, because a lot of these things that are red tapes involve something to do with your background check or something like that. So if you have a clean background, you want to definitely take advantage of having that clean background and getting the best job you can get, and so on and so forth. And the last one is lack of money. And I mentioned that, and it all goes back because this is all. Let's look at it as a tree, and this is the root of the tree. Lack of money is the root of the tree of a lot of different problems, as well as these red tape items. Because let's say 100,000, $1 million in the bank, $10 million in the bank. I ain't worried about credit requirements. Why am I worried about credit requirements? I mean, 9 times out of 10, yeah, my credit is good because I got $10 million in the bank. Whatever I owe 60 grand, 70 grand, 700 grand. I've already paid it off because I got the money in the bank to pay it off, and I still have. I'll get whatever you know. That 700K is not gonna hurt me that much. I got $10 million in the bank. Okay, background check. Oh, you want to check my background? Why? Oh, because I need to do something, get a job. Got $10 million in the bank, or what? Said 900, $9 million in the bank. I'm not worried about your background check. PDT rule. I got $1 million at least in my brokerage account. I could trade as much as I want. Professional licensing. Oh, I need a license to be a real estate broker. Oh no, I don't, because I don't even need to be a real estate broker. I'm a millionaire. I can buy and sell as many properties as I want. I can just hire a real estate broker to sell my properties if I need to do so. Not a problem for me. Insurance, I I don't need to sell insurance to anybody. Why would I waste my time doing that? I could just start an insurance company and have insurance agents sell my insurance for my company. You see what I'm saying? It's all can is it lack of money resolves all of this. So when I say focus on saving, my book Millionaire Savings Plan, my you know saving strategy, this is what helps all of that. So I'm gonna be okay no matter what. But and I just wanted to just go over these items, just to remind people and also educate people that young guys, young girls that are coming up, you definitely want to keep mindful of these red tapes. That's all I have. You guys have a good one. Comment, like, share, subscribe.